It's episode 200. I'm not doing the whole welcome. I'm doing something different. 199 episodes, we do it one way. Episode 200, we do it another way. I'm fired up, baby. Let's go. 200 episodes. What's up, Kittrell? How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good. It's crazy. It feels like just yesterday we were going to the studio for the first time and, really getting this thing into gear. And 200 episodes later, we're basically doing everything ourselves and, coming up with all the ideas and everything that you see here. So it's been a long journey, but it's been a fun one. I'm pumped for tonight's show.
Appreciate that. What's up, Shally? How you feeling, brother? 200 episodes.
Good. I mean, I'm a little tired since I've carried the show for all 200 and I haven't missed any. So it's, it's a little different from my point of view over here. But no, all kidding aside, yeah, I mean, what Cottrell said, man. I mean, to think 200 episodes ago, I didn't even know Cottrell, and and showing up to Mike's little like shady condo, and
how was this condo shady, bro? Wasn't that shady?
It was kind of shady.
Bill's being shady right now.
Doing the first episode, and I just remember sitting there the first time and how thinking I was, not going to be nervous. And then Mike was like, all right, we're live in 2 minutes. And I was like, I don't remember what I was going to say at all. And now we're here, and just, how much content we've put together as a group. And it's just crazy how much we've grown. I mean, we went from one show, we have a network now. I mean, I co-host another show. Gene's on different shows. Cottrell's on my other show. It's nuts, man. It's been a journey.
It has. If you don't know who I am, I'm sorry. I'm not telling you my name. If you don't know through 200 episodes who the hell I am, I'm not telling you. But I appreciate the shout outs in the chat, everybody. Show 200 might see somebody new, but if you're new, just read the name. I'm fired up though. We got our offensive lineman list. We're gonna talk about NFL preseason. We got our trivia question for tonight. It will be difficult. We're gonna break down the Big 12, the new Big 12. I don't even know what it is. I'm kidding. I know what it is, but it's just different. We're going to do headlines. We got a lot, but we got to start with the Olympics. We have to start with the gold medals. We have to start with Team USA, however you want to put it. I almost gave you guys an Olympic question tonight. It was very close, but I wasn't sure with this Olympics, if it was included, the gold medals, and it was a top 10 gold medal list in United States history. And I didn't want it to be I didn't want it to be where I gave you guys the wrong answers. So I didn't.
That would have been a good one for me and Cottrell because we both kind of follow it. So that could have been fun. But I get it. I doubt probably most of the lists are probably updated yet. So
I don't know how many need to be updated. I don't Simone might have cracked the top 10. She wasn't on there when the list came out. Does she have more than 7 gold medals now?
Yeah,
7 was 10.
Yeah, I think she has 8 or 9 now. I think.
Yes, she would be on the list now.
Yeah,
well,
she wouldn't have been on the list.
No, she just got 1 from this Olympics, but she's got, I think, 3 total medals from this Olympics. But it was just gold.
That's my point, though. I don't know if it would have been updated. But Brian Lochte was on there. Obviously, our boy Michael Phelps, friend of the show. He's obviously been by a few times. But no, it's great list. But we got a different trivia question for you guys. It will be football related. I cannot wait to get into that. But let's talk about the Olympics. And with the Olympics, I will be the first to admit to you, I am following basketball and basketball. I'm not really following as much as everyone else in the whole world is. I'm following Hard Knocks. I'm in the NFL. I'm in that era. So
track and field's been incredible so far already.
Nuts, absolutely nuts.
So wait, one guy is faster than the other guy? I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
Sometimes not even. But they find a way to win. Had an American win the 1,500 meters. That was absolutely insane considering.
Huge upset, apparently.
Yeah, huge. I mean, nobody had him. Honestly, nobody had him getting a medal at this Olympics, let alone winning a gold medal. So for that to happen, beating 2 guys that one is the world record holder, the other one is the reigning 1,500 meter champion for outdoor worlds last year. Like for him to go out there and get that win, obviously set a PR in that race and ultimately end up being an Olympic record. Like absolutely insane. So many other events have also been crazy. Like even today, the men's 400 meters, Quincy Hall, American, won a gold medal, had no business winning it. It got to 200
None.
in the race. And he said, my form is all out the door. I'm just giving it everything I have. And whatever I have left in the tank, I'm going to see just how far it gets me. And they ended up getting him to a gold medal. So, I mean, to echo what Bill said, track has been absolutely phenomenal so far. And I still think, and I've been saying this since, we've started talking about the Olympics here, I still think you got 3, maybe 4 world records that are still on the way to getting taken down in this Olympics alone.
You're probably right. Where do you want to start with first, Cottrell? I'll let you lead as I'm sharing everything out to Twitter and stuff.
So, I mean, we could just give everybody first here, just real quick, just like an updated list of where everything stands medal wise. So after a couple upsets, on the track and field side of things, we're back on track as far as gold goes. Obviously with like Sha'Carri not winning gold, beach volleyball, men's and women's have both already lost. That wasn't expected in those events. So, but with the upsets that they had on the track side of things, that's really got them back to keeping the same pace they have from Tokyo, and ultimately expected to get the most gold medals in this Olympics. And of course, the total medal count, not close at all. But sport wise, I mean, we could start wherever you guys want to start.
America. I won't finish that one. I'm fired up. Look, dude, we got the most golds, the most silvers, the most bronze. Like we're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. Noah Lyles won too, right? I heard the American basketball team showed up to troll him if he lost, and then he won, and they were all annoyed and like left. Did you see that? Am I the only one that noticed that?
Well, I mean, they were all that. We knew they were all there. I don't think they were actually like annoyed that he left, but they were like,
they were there to troll him, bro.
Oh, and for sure,
left,
to troll him.
Oh man. And Embiid left immediately as soon as he won. Didn't even wait for like.
Well, I mean, that's
what is the gripe between Noah Lyles and the basketball team?
Because he said the whole world champions of what, like the United States. He basically said NBA players shouldn't be calling themselves world champions for winning the NBA finals, because in every other sport you go out there and you compete against everybody in the world and not just your league in one country.
So it's the same argument we had on the show before.
Yeah, that's what it stemmed from.
That's what it stemmed from. And then the NBA players were in his mentions, and then Noah Lyles trolled the 2021 team when they lost. They didn't win, or what was 2022 World Championship team? Is that what it was?
No, the team last year.
Last year, he trolled them, and he goes like laughing at them when they didn't win. So like it's been a back and forth. It's not like it's one sided, but D-Book, Kevin Durant, a lot of those guys were in his comments. And then as soon as the world championship team lost last year, he was definitely trolling back. It's been a back and forth thing. I'm on the side of the American basketball players because the NBA world champions are the world champions. They're not the NBA champions or the world champions. It's the best league in the world. If you put any one of these other Olympic basketball teams in the NBA, they would break a record for most losses in a season. None of them would win. They would win no games. And the United States basketball team is proving that this year by stomping a mud hole and sending the best players in the world to just smash everyone. That's what we wanted. That's what we had to do. And I think that our NBA champion, like if like the Boston Celtics played in the Olympics, they'd win the gold medal. There'd be no doubt about it in my mind. And it wouldn't be close. No games would be within 10 points. And I'm doing this right now because I can see Cottrell fuming. Like I'm doing this to just get a rise out of him. And I could see it.
You won't get a rise out of me. It's actually funny though, because Adam Silver's already come out and said that they're getting close to scheduling some games, NBA team against like some of the European League teams. And I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see, especially if they do like a tournament. Granted, I do think the best NBA teams are for sure going to win, but I still stand where I stood before as far as like the whole world champ thing goes. I mean, if you want to say like best team, they are the best team. I definitely understand that, but I mean, what do you call a country that wins gold in a FIBA World Championship? Like in my mind, those would be the world champions of that year if you have a tournament specifically for it.
I disagree completely. I think the best league in the world is the NBA, but we're not going to stay on this too long. He asked why Noah Lyles and the NBA players were trolling each other, and I wanted to answer that. Maybe some listeners went. And Alex, you're wrong also. Our worst NBA team could beat the best international team. Agreed. A basketball Champions League. So Alex is right. I apologize. I was reading that wrong. But yes, our worst NBA team could beat the best international team. You are absolutely correct, Alex. Let's put that comment on the screen for your correct answer. Send him a prize. Well, a year's supply of Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat.
I mean, hey, last preseason, Real Madrid beat Dallas. So
that's not real. Nobody played. Stop it.
Doesn't matter. Are they not NBA players? Are they not NBA players?
Yeah,
the
but
people that played weren't NBA players.
Yeah, like the bench players, and Real Madrid played their national team.
Well, I mean, Real Madrid is a organization, so they don't have a national team. They're a club team.
Yeah, they would get destroyed in the NBA.
I get it. I get it. But I'm just saying it happened.
I think Noah Lyles has a chance to have the last laugh here, though, which will be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you go out and lose if US doesn't win gold in basketball, I mean, we all expect them to.
I don't care if USA wins gold. If he pulls off the triple, that's way more impressive than what US basketball does.
It's not about what's more impressive. Are the NBA champions the world champions?
Okay, and he would be the world champion in the 100 to 200 and anchor the 4x1.
No one says he's not the world champion.
You can't deny that.
You can't deny that the NBA champions are world champions, the best league in the world.
You have a world tournament with all countries, and they don't win.
I'm not even disagreeing with your point, Gene, but it kind of factors into my whole thing. You're sending the best 15 player from the best league to beat up a bunch of kindergartens in basketball. That's not as impressive as the guy that's got to go out and do it by himself. And
no one's saying this is impressive.
Okay, my statement was that I think if he wins all three, like the whole battle on Instagram and everything, I think he has the last laugh. I think what he does is more impressive than what the basketball team does. That was my only statement. I'm not getting involved in this other argument about what league is better and blah blah blah. I simply made the statement that if he wins all three, I think he has the last laugh in this social media battle with the basketball players. That's all I said.
I don't think that that's the argument though. Like I get your point. I think everybody most people in the United States want Noah Lyles to win because he's an American.
No, people like to hate watch.
I'm
watch Noah Lyles for sure.
PD's in the comments being PD as usual, being wrong.
No, Petey's actually right. I'm with you, Petey. You can't call your league the National Basketball Association and then give them the moniker World Champions. It literally contradicts what the name of your league is. So I'm with you, Petey. You're right. You're on the right side of history here.
You guys are all wrong. What else are we getting into Olympics besides you guys being wrong about basketball?
Well, I mean, outside of me and Petey
about basketball
being on the right side of history here, more people on the right side of history. I mean, Simone Biles got another gold medal. KatieLedecky's got more gold since we last got off the show. Soccer had an impressive win in extra time over who did they play?
They beat Germany 1-0, and that was after they beat Australia in extra time. They're playing with fire right now, but they're coming out on the right side of it so far. They're in the gold medal game, so they got a chance to win another one with kind of a younger group that if this group is going to kind of be had, this is the tournament to do it. So we'll see. Brazil's been.
Oh, go ahead, Bill.
No, I just say, I mean, Brazil's been kind of up and down in the Olympics so far. They do get Marta back off her red card suspension. This will be her last game with the national team. So, I mean, you're going to get everything you got out of her, but they're just better than Brazil top to bottom. They should win that game.
And I mean, just to add on to that, it's just crazy the irony from like this compared to where they were at for the World Cup. Obviously, everyone had some input about how they felt about Megan Rapinoe being put on the team and her not deserving that spot. And this time around, they leave off, Alex Morgan on the team, and it seems as if that was the right decision. They've got everything rolling right now, and you really can't second guess it at this point, being in the gold medal match. So it's crazy how things have just come full circle for that team, and they're one game away from being champions.
I don't disagree. I don't think they're in a different position right now if Alex is on the team or not, because her play is not fallen off like Megan Rapinoe's did. Like, listen, that whole group, Megan Rapinoe got shoved down that coaching staff's throat for non-soccer reasons to go to the World Cup. And it's just as simple as that. If you were going strictly on skill and where she was, coming off an injury, not playing a lot, she had no business being on that roster. That's not why she was on that roster. People just don't want to come out and say that, but that's just the truth of it. Alex Morgan was still still is at a skill level that she could have played on this Olympic roster. And the Olympic roster is actually a little bit smaller than the World Cup roster as well. So that made it even more difficult. But Sophie Smith and Robin are playing their asses off. So they are both young, really young. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So they're playing really well. They just, I hope they go out and finish. I think they play Saturday. So hopefully they go out and finish the deal and bring the gold back home where it belongs.
Do want to just add in the fact that the United States women's basketball team finally made the right decision. Looks like they are starting Jackie Young now instead of Diana Taurasi. I'm happy about that. Go United States. Women win gold. Listen, I want the United States women's soccer team and the women's basketball team to win gold, but I'm happy now that Diana Taurasi is not starting.
It's like she shouldn't be on the team or something. It's weird.
I don't think she should be on the team.
I agree.
Yeah. Jackie Young responded with 15 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Just not a bad showing. Your first start.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how much it matters in terms of starting on the men's side of things. I mean, they throw a different lineup out every game, and we see what happens every time. I mean, I think the women can do the same thing. Not saying Diana Taurasi deserves a starting spot or anything like that, but I mean, I just think they're in a position where they're head and shoulders above everybody else in the competition. It really doesn't. They could start the entire bench, the 5 players who you think probably deserve least to be on this team. They could start those 5 and go out there and just beat everybody. They're just that much better than everyone that they're playing.
You're right, but with the men's side, I got to give Steve Kerr's credit. I think he's played people based off matchups and not off egos, and I've loved that. I love every moment of that. I love that. That's good coaching, and that's what I expect. And I think that the players you need to bring need to be the best players. If that's what you want to argue, bring the best players. That's fine. Diana Taurasi shouldn't be there, and that's where I get. This is not a lifetime achievement award. Just throw on the bench. If you're going to throw Diana Taurasi on the bench, could have thrown Caitlin Clark on the bench, could have thrown Angel Reese on the bench. You could have thrown and not been the worst rated basketball game in the entire Olympics was the United States women's basketball game. The lowest viewership in the Olympics for basketball was the USA women's basketball. Sorry.
Well, I mean, the reality of it is
4 out of 6 opening round games drew over 20,000. The United States was one of 2 that did not.
The reality is that no one cares about the viewership of Olympic basketball.
Except the Olympic Committee.
No, the Olympic Committee doesn't care. They want to put out the best product. If they cared about the ratings and things like that, they wouldn't have the rules they do as far as like 3-on-3 goes. What they ultimately want here is they want to put forth is as good of a competition as they can. If that was the case, there would have been more outrage officially about not bringing Caitlin Clark, not like fans and things like that. There would have been more talk from people higher up that would have said, hey, it would have been nice to see Caitlin. But that also wasn't the case. I don't think the Olympics has ever cared about like viewership. Of course, in the bigger picture, they do because it's going to bring them more money, things like that. But I don't think they care about, who's competing in what in this situation based on some viewership.
We can agree to disagree there because overall, they've mentioned multiple times. And by the way, you can tell by the timings of the games. Why is the American games always at 3:30 in the afternoon, not 7 in the morning? Because they want Americans to be watching the American basketball games.
That's common sense though. Like that has nothing to do with Caitlyn.
And say anything to do with Caitlyn. You said that has nothing to do with viewership. They just want to put the best product out there. Then shuffle the times up. Who cares?
Well, they're not gonna put Brazil and Argentina, just random countries together to at a prime time matchup.
Wrong. More people would have watched it. I disagree with you completely. Look at the WNBA ratings this year, PD. No one's going to watch women's basketball regardless. Get out of here.
I think Pete. I mean, I don't.
As far as the Olympics go, I think PD. I don't agree with it fully, but I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't think if they had Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese there, they wouldn't have 10,000 more viewers?
Caitlin Clark playing 8 to 10 minutes a game would not have drawn 20,000 more people to watch the game.
I disagree
on
with you.
TV.
Yeah,
I disagree with that actually. I think the biggest problem with the women's is, again, I think it's. I'm not going to blame it all on like Caitlin, Angel Reese, like that whole group not being there. I think a lot of it is there's no suspense in a USA women's basketball game. There's none. Like going to see it live or even watching it on TV, they're going to win by 40 points. Like you said, like you can put the bench in and the bench is going to win by 25. There's just not a lot of suspense there. And it's not as exciting as men's basketball. So even though the men's team is probably going to win by 40, you're still watching, more exciting basketball to watch.
No, say what you were going to say. You literally lined it up. You lined it up. Say what you were going to say. You're still watching LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Yeah. That's where you were going. That's where you were going.
It was.
And that's lining up exactly my point. Thank you.
The only thing I'll push back on a little bit is France is making money off, all the money they put out for these Olympics to build everything and everything else. They're getting it from viewership. So the more people in the U.S. that watch, the better. So they are to push back on your point a little bit. Them playing at 3:30, over there, which makes it prime time here. It is done on purpose because that's how France is going to make their money back.
By the way, this would be the best 3-on-3 team because of the way they play basketball. That 3-on-3 team would be incredible. They would sweep. It wouldn't be close. Angel, Caitlin, and Sabrina. Oh my, because Angel would get all the dirty rebounds and do all the dirty work in the paint. Caitlin can shoot. Sabrina can shoot. Oh my God, that team would be dirty. They would be dirty. Although I got to give credit where credit's due. After their 0-2 start, the United States 3-on-3 team and a person that I've given a lot of hate, I used to be a big fan of, I've given a lot of hate. She came back and played pretty damn well down the stretch. Haley Van Lith played a lot better.
She looked like her old self last couple games.
But, still not good enough to win a medal. But whatever.
They got bronze.
They got bronze.
Yeah.
The men's didn't win a medal. Sorry. They were 4-3 in their 7 games and didn't medal.
Yeah, I mean, got to figure out a way to bring out the best. And I love
Draymond comments.
No, I was talking about Ice Cube. What he said that he winner gets, I think, 250,000. The winner of 3-on-3 there plays the like his best 3-on-3 team in his league. They'll set it up. They'll do it in Boston. Winner takes home 250,000.
I love that.
Like, I think that would be sweet.
Now, I love what Draymond said. Draymond said the guys that will never really make the Olympics, like Naz Reid and like players like that, like the NBA should send those dudes over. He came up with a 3-on-3 team for the Americans of Jalen Green, Naz Reid, and Tyrese Maxey. He goes, if we put those 3 over there, we would dominate that 3-on-3.
I don't think the NBA guys should really be in the 3-on-3. I don't. I think they designed that for it to kind of be to get away from
more equal.
Yes, and
yeah,
I think they should. And I think they should not,
that too. They make you go through so many checks and balances.
That's fine, but I think it's justified. I mean, because if not, that's what you're taking. So, like, I mean, the next list the next list of 15 guys that didn't make the Olympic team. You take any combination of 5 of them. They're going to dominate the 3-on-3 if you let them play. I think it was done to, again, make it equal and just kind of make it more of a just not a professional spotlighted sport in the Olympics, which again, you can argue what you want, but I mean, the spirit of the Olympics is professional athletes shouldn't be playing in it anyway. So I hope they leave 3-on-3 alone.
I do want to highlight when PD is finally right about something. He said they got to participate in FIBA 3v3 to be allowed in the Olympics. And it happens in NBA season. He's absolutely right.
And there's also I think just like a tournaments like that you can play in. Tournaments that you can play in, is there's like a certain number that you have to reach as well. So get that it happens during the season, but I still think you could get a better bunch of than what they had. I mean, you got guys that
shooting like Jimmer.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmer hasn't been relevant in 12 years
since he was a senior.
Baby.
Soccer's the same way now, which again, I think a lot of people didn't like at the beginning, but now they like. I mean, the World Cup teams don't play in the Olympics anymore. Everybody's 20. It's pretty much everybody's 22 and under national team, and I think you're allowed like 3 people on the team that are older. But even those people can't have a certain amount of caps on the national team. So, and that's made it more competitive and it's made it more fun and nobody's batted an eye. So I understand the basketball thing and they're going to have their way and that's fine. But, after that, I don't think the pros should be involved in 3-on-3 at all.
By the way, PD, I love you. We just disagree on literally everything. We are on if there's an argument to be had in a 50-50 argument, me and PD are on the different side of the coin on every one of them. I have no problem with you. You're just always wrong.
P better use damn waffles soon is what P better do.
He's not going to do the waffles. He's not going to do it because he's one of those guys, bro.
He's
one of those guys. No, he won't.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He told me he's going to do it.
He won't
do it. He's too cool for school.
He's just one of those guys, just full shit.
Jesus.
I'm kidding with you, PD. All right, but anything else Olympics you want to talk about before we get in NFL?
I don't know if I had anything else.
No, nothing really.
Comes NBA also
about Canada choking.
You know what's funny about that? You can tell how many people aren't watching Olympic basketball. They're like, yeah, the Twin Towers of Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama took down Canada. And until you actually watch the game and realize Rudy Gobert didn't play.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert was a ghost.
He's not at all. They took him out of start lineup. He's not on the team, basically.
Speaking of Draymond, his comments about that situation, I know he hates Rudy Gobert, but makes a strong point. You put any a starting NBA player, NBA All-Star on any team other than Team USA, they're probably like the focal point of that team. Like if you put any NBA All-Star on any other country, they're a focal point. And France is like, yeah, we're just going to take you out the starting lineup. Like we don't even need you to really play. Like it's nuts in the bigger picture here.
I'm not like a Rudy Gobert like defender or anything. That's just a little tough when Wemby's on the team. Like you take Wemby off the team and you make that statement, then like I think Draymond's 1,000% correct. It ain't like they don't have like the budding superstar on the planet like on the team. Like it's a little misleading. It's a little misleading in my opinion.
I get it, but Team USA finds a way to play Bam, AD, Joel Embiid. I'm sure France in reality would have if Joel Embiid is on the team instead of Rudy Gobert. I understand he stretches the floor more, but even if Joel is not shooting jump shots, Joel Embiid find a way to make it work with Victor if he wanted to go play with France.
Can we talk about how Dylan Brooks and Jamal Murray were absolute no-shows? That was so funny. I'm sorry. It was
Jamal Murray gave everything he had to beat the Lakers, and we haven't really seen him since.
No.
I said at the end of the regular season, and they looked tired going in. They definitely looked tired. He looked gassed, dude. Like he looks like he just wants to go home and sleep for a week. Like he does. And I honestly, dude, with as much you got to realize. I mean, you look at him and Joker, man. They've pretty much played basketball nonstop for 2 years. Like that's a grind, man. That's a grind. That's a lot of basketball.
And the fun part of it is for you to run your mouth the way Dylan Brooks runs his mouth.
Facts.
You can't be this bad in this. Like you just can't. 1 for 9, 2 points. Thanks for showing up, Dylan.
Especially after the friendly against Team USA, and you're doing all these things like walking in front of people's interviews and basically saying like Canada is going to get USA back in the tournament, and now you're going home, no medal, no nothing. Like, hate to see it.
No, you don't.
Couldn't have a better guy.
United States will have their 15th matchup with Serbia tomorrow. I feel like they've been playing like Serbia like every other day. I know they played them in the bracket. They played them in the friendly. I know. They played them in the friendly. They played them in the bracket. And now they're going to play them in the qualifying round. I will like to see the Joel Embiid I watched last game. Hopefully his slight ankle, like it looked nothing, but hopefully he plays the way he played in the first half of the last game, because I want to get to see the Joel Embiid that dominates Nikola Jokic every time they play in the regular season. I want to see that Joel Embiid.
Well, Joel doesn't like both of them. These guys don't like playing against each other for whatever reason. Like I'm convinced at this point. Every time this matchup comes, I get it. They both put up the crazy numbers when they actually do play each other. But every time they're supposed to play each other, one of these guys is hurt. Something comes up.
Joel sits in Denver every year. It's because, and I'm convinced it has nothing to do with Nikola Jokic.
It has everything to do with altitude.
Yes, because he sits in Utah every other game too. He doesn't have the stamina. I'm telling you, because when he plays Utah, he sits every other game. Do you remember the game he sat versus Utah when Ben Simmons played center and put up 42 on Rudy Gobert?
I do.
He does it all the time, and I don't think it has anything to do with Jokic. I think it has everything to do with altitude.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm just saying it's just like how we talk about every time something crazy, like something bad happens, Nick Castellanos, like he hits a home run. Like it just feels like every time these guys are slated to go up against each other, something's going on and somebody's not playing. So
you're right.
I'm hoping Joel can give it a go, and I'd love to see that matchup. But at the end of the day, not really hold my breath on it. I think Team USA knows they can beat Serbia by 25 with or without them, so they'll probably play it safe. Sixers are probably already calling like, hey, make sure you guys play it safe with this. Like, don't need this to be a lingering thing. So I guess we'll see. Time will tell.
USA by 20.
I mean, you said that, bro, and like I almost cringed because I don't think the United States women's basketball team has won a game in this tournament outside the first one by 20. They won today by 14 over Nigeria.
They were up 30 and really pulled back everything. Like they were up 30 going into the fourth.
They lost the fourth 26-12. But they still have not they've not been winning games by 40. Like that's not like he said they win every game by 40. They don't.
The game against
Belgium, it was like
Belgium. The game against Belgium was fun. It was a fun
and
game.
The whole crowd was rooting for Belgium. The fact that the corniest part of that whole thing was Sabrina Ionescu hitting that three-pointer with like 14 seconds left in the clock when they were already up 12 and then shushing the crowd. Come on, man. Like, if you hit a three-point dagger, like, in a big moment, no, you hit a three-pointer as the shot clock was running out with 8 seconds left when the game was already in hand and then shush the crowd. That was corny. No, it wasn't corny.
I mean, bro, they were booing. They not booing, but like it was a hostile crowd the entire game. And this isn't the NBA or WNBA. Like the points mattered as far as like seeding goes, things like that. The point differential mattered. So her hitting the three, that's inbounds there. Good play on her part. And then her giving, the shush. I mean, I feel like this Team USA, they've kind of been playing with this chip on their shoulder this entire tournament so far. One, because of, I think it originally started with the loss in the WNBA All-Star game to, Team WNBA. And then two, going over here and, this crowd was obviously pro-Belgium. I mean, they're neighbors to France. So everybody traveled to go see them play there. So maybe she was just playing with a little bit of chip on her shoulder. I'm all right with it. All's fair in the sport of competition here. So I'm good with it.
Do you think that the United States, if they beat Serbia, they see the Germans or the French in the finals?
French.
I completely disagree with you. The Germans they're undefeated in this tournament so far, and they have a lot of NBA talent, and they play tough, man. They play very tough. The Wagners, Franz and Mo, Dennis Schroeder, like, man, they've been playing tough basketball. Daniel Tice has been clanging and banging in the paint. I mean, I love the Germans, bro. I really like the Germans to beat.
They are the reigning world champions. So They won 2023 World.
See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. You really recognize them as world champions, bro?
Hey, they won the 2023 World Championship. So I'm just saying.
I get like it's different, but like at the same time, like if you're playing in the 2023 FIBA World Championships and you win, what are you supposed to call them?
FIBA winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FIBA.
Like, I mean, you're not gonna do that. Just like you're not gonna be like.
I call them losers. I'm just kidding.
But.
All right, let's get to NFL. Let's talk about some preseason.
Whoa.
What do you mean, whoa? We're done.
No,
I had something to say.
Bro, just going to skip over Scotty Scheffler's 62 in the final round to win gold. Novak Djokovic finally like caps off like everything. Now he's won everything.
I asked what else you want to talk about Olympics.
Yeah, and then you just kept talking about basketball again. Like you
That's
always
all I
do.
care about.
I know.
God, Bill, give us your Scotty Scheffler and your Jokic.
That's fine. I'm done. Let's argue about national champs again, even more. Let's do that.
I would prefer
call them world champs.
They shouldn't be world champs.
World champions of what?
See,
United States.
You guys are wrong. I wish that like when he said that and the American basketball players were arguing with him, they would just like, let's share bank accounts. Let's see who makes more money.
That has nothing to do with it.
I know, but winning, Noah Lyles winning has nothing to do with it either. They shouldn't have showed up to no, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing.
You can't say there's nothing to do with it when they all showed up hoping he was going to lose.
They did do that. That was hilarious.
Okay, so
and
that's
they went home so
then
annoyed.
He won exactly. So they left annoyed because he stood on business and took care of his business.
How about the announcer like saying that he lost and then finding out he won?
Absolutely awful.
It was
awful call.
It was one of the best 100s ever. It
was great.
He's favored to win the 200 tomorrow. If he wins that, like I said, and the U.S. can pull down the 4x1, which they're favored, which they should. Like I said, he's going to be one of four people to ever do it. It's pretty goddamn impressive versus a bunch of, to your point, best basketball players in the world beating up on a bunch of kindergartners in basketball. So
they're not kindergartners, bro. They're world champions.
You can't have it both ways.
I'm asking you. I'm playing your logic.
No. This is between you and Control. I've never really got involved in it. All I said is if you win the FIBA World Championships, what are you supposed to call them besides world champions?
FIBA.
All right. That makes no sense.
Yep. That's it. Brandon Ayuk almost got traded today 3 times. Let's talk about that.
Still a 49er, though.
Still a 49er. The Browns and Patriots were apparently in on him. Big trades.
Steelers.
Well, hold on. I'll get there. I got you. I'll feed you, baby bird. 49ers had an agreement with both teams. Brandon Ayuk turned down any amount of money that New England offered him.
He ain't going there. It's a dumpster
fire.
fire.
New England was like, all right, we're out then. We're done.
Yeah.
So
I don't blame him on that one.
No, I don't blame him either. It's funny. We were talking about this on the morning show with Chris and Mo. And they said, like, he can't have it both ways. He plays on the 49ers. He's not going to go to, like, the Eagles or the Chiefs. I said, yeah, but he doesn't have to go to a worse situation.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't have to be the complete 180 either. Correct.
It really feels like he's going to end up in Washington. I feel like that, like, Washington keeps saying they're out, but that's where he wants to be. And
that's
I feel like –
spot for him.
What?
That's a good spot for him.
Agreed. You got a rookie quarterback. You can probably trade Jahan Dotson straight up. The money works out that way.
They played together at Arizona State for a year.
Yeah, I feel like that could be the move.
And you still got Scary Terry there. You got two. Well, you got Brian Robinson, and that's not a bad offense. Yeah, it's not a bad offense.
But Pittsburgh has now gotten back in the equation, and the Steelers have almost a trade worked out. And apparently, it was almost going to happen this afternoon. It was so close to happening that they had to go out and say there is no deal yet. So, we can't report this yet. What team ends up with Brandon Ayuk? Where does he end up? Is he a 49er by week 1? Is he a 49er by next Wednesday? What are your thoughts?
I actually thought the Cleveland thing kind of made a lot of sense. I think Washington makes a little bit more sense. If I'm him, I don't want to go to Pittsburgh just simply because after this year, you have no idea who's going to be the quarterback of that team. Justin Fields' deal is up. Russ is on a 1-year deal. I don't know how confident you are in playing with Russ, who is still the named starter for the time being at least. I don't know if I'd want to go there with all the uncertainty there. At that point, I would either rather want to go to Washington and play with the rookie and grow with him, or go to a more settled situation in Cleveland with a guy that you've under contract for a long time, and a team and coaching staff that has been in place for a couple years. So I would not want to go to Pittsburgh if I were him.
What do you think, Joe?
I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, the fact that originally they just came out and basically said, "Hey, we're going to talk to teams and see who gives us the best deal, and see if you want to go to either of these teams," it's interesting, especially the fact that they had two deals that basically were agreed upon. But then now to go out and say, "Hey, you can go out and look for your own trade, and as long as we meet the expectations of everybody, like we're all good with that." So with them going out and saying that, I feel like that means that their relationship is past the point of, it's to the point of no return. So I definitely don't think he'll be a 49er by week 1 like how I'd originally thought. But with that said, I don't think Pittsburgh makes a ton of sense. They wouldn't be getting back a receiver of true starting quality. So that means Pittsburgh is probably giving up a first or a second round pick for Brandon Ayuk. And like Bill said, they don't have a true plan at quarterback. So I don't think that would make a ton of sense. I think Washington makes all the sense in the world, especially now with Jaden Daniels under contract, like under his rookie deal where you're not paying quarterback, like you'll have the money to have that flexibility there. I like the idea of Ayuk to the Browns. If that means not giving up Amari Cooper and then you just go out and pay Brandon Ayuk like this offseason, I wouldn't trade Amari for Ayuk and like a 4th or 5th or whatever the report was. Ultimately, I think there's going to be a team that just really comes out of nowhere and goes all in on Ayuk.
But the leverage is not like, this is why this trade has not gotten done, because you have to essentially trade Brandon Ayuk just to overpay him. And I don't think that's like real. I don't think that's like, if I'm trading for him and then I have to overpay him, his value is so diminished. A first or second round pick for a guy I got to give $30 million to. I guess the comparable is AJ Brown when the Eagles went out and traded for him. But like, I don't think Brandon Ayuk's even in the same stratosphere as AJ Brown.
Yeah, right now. But at the same time, though, when AJ Brown was in Tennessee, AJ Brown was considered among most somewhere falling in between the 11 to 15 range. And that's where Brandon Ayuk is right now. Like, as much as I don't think he's worth $30 million a year, I think that's for your bona fide top 10, your bona fide true number 1 guys on the team. I mean, that's going to be the market. And regardless if you give a first or a second for him, that's what Brandon Ayuk's going to get. So if a team knows, like, hey, next year we go out and sign him for $30 million, if we can just, essentially cut out the middleman here, make sure he's on our team. If that means getting, moving a second round pick, a team like Washington, I think that makes a ton of sense for, because you're not going to get a talent better than Brandon Ayuk in the second round. Like, that's just not going to happen, at least for the foreseeable future here. Maybe down the line, but Brandon's young, elite receiver, and you pair him with a guy like Terry, we still don't know what the best version of Terry McLaurin is. So you give him a guy, Jaden Daniels, 2 bona fide receivers right next to each other. I think that can work out. I just think that ultimately Brandon has to decide, does he want to get paid or does he want to win? Browns already came out and said, hey, we're not meeting you at this number. If you want to come here, we will make the trade for you. I feel like a lot of contending teams are going to be the same way. If Buffalo wants to go make the move for him, they don't have the money to give him $30 million a year. If the Chargers want to, bring in a true number 1, they won't have the money to give him $30 million a year. So I think he's going to have to pick. Does he want to go to a good situation and potentially win and maybe take a little bit less money? Or does he want to just go wherever and get the most money as possible? Obviously, we know that's not the case with New England, but there's other teams that have a ton of cap room. So, I mean,
but see, I think his decision is I'd rather get paid, but I don't want to go to a place that's actually going to destroy my career like New England.
Yeah, and so that's why he wants to go to Washington.
With that. I'm okay with that.
He's like, Washington stunk last year, but I get to at least get paid and then play with people that I know and have potential of being with a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I'll say Washington. I don't think Washington's fully out, although they're reporting that they are. I'm gonna ultimately go Washington.
I see. I think to Gene's point, I think even Cottrell's. I think I don't know if the relationship's beyond the part of obviously repair, because eventually you just get people in the same room and everybody once the player gets paid, a lot of grievances just seem to just disappear and go out the window. I also think just San Francisco's like, listen, we're just not going to continue to spend a lot of time and resources to do something that we really don't want to do anyway. So I think if you're like, yeah, you go find something that meets our demands and makes sense for us, okay, then we'll do it. If not, like we're not doing this all training camp. Like we got shit to do. Like we have to get ready for the season. His other option is to play his contract, make his $11 million, whatever the hell it is this year, and then go be a free agent and sign wherever you want to sign. Like it's, he has options. Like to Gene's point, I don't know if I want to trade for him, give up something, because if you're going to make me overpay for him, then I'd rather just get him in the offseason and overpay for him and not have to give up another player or draft picks or some other value or compensation. At that point, I'd rather just overpay for him in free agency and have him. So he doesn't have a lot of leverage here. He just doesn't.
Ooh, see, that's what I disagree with. I think he has all the leverage.
I don't. If he sits out, they don't have to pay him. They're not going to pay him.
He won't sit out, though. If it comes down to it, I mean, he'll play with the 49ers.
Okay. Well, then San Francisco wins. He shows up, and they have both their wide receivers they want to have for the season, and they win a Super Bowl. And then if he, like Gene said, if he wants to leave and leave that culture and leave that core that's set up to still win for the next couple of years, that's on Brandon Ayuk.
I get the thought process of what you're saying, but at the same time, you also have to think about long term here. I think that with Ayuk, if he has an injury, any nagging injury, he's not going to play. So that's one thing you're going to have to worry about. And then two, you're going to be losing him for nothing. If you can get a second round pick right now, you want him out the door if you know he's not coming back, and that's just going to be the case. And to me, I think he has the leverage here.
Are they getting a second though? That's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody is. To Gene's point, I don't think they're going to be like, hey, we're going to give up. Not only are we going to give up a second round pick for our draft class next year, and then on top of that, I'm going to have to pay him more than what he's worth because the wide receiver market's nuts right now. Yeah. I don't think anybody's offering it to.
See, that's why I disagree. I think the Patriots literally offered that.
I don't know what they offered. We don't know what the offer is.
I don't know what the official was, but I think it was born in the second.
This reminds me a lot of what happened with Justin Fields. We were talking about, was he going to get the late first, early second? Would it be a second and a third? And then he ended up getting traded for a sixth. I don't think his value is anywhere near what we're giving credit for. And I don't believe it should be. Now, I don't think he'll get $30 million. I think when he gets signed with a team, gets traded to a team, he's going to end up signing for about $26 million. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. They're going to sign him to like a 4-year, $104 million deal. And that's what you're going to see. And you're going to be like, okay, Brandon Ayuk signed for what he's worth on a team he wants to play for. I just don't understand why the 49ers wouldn't pay him that. 4 years, 26 makes sense. That's what I think he's going to end up getting.
I would tell you at that point, I'm assuming he probably wants more than that, and not so much just money-wise. He probably wants longer term, and that's probably what they're balking at.
I guess we'll see. I bet you it's guaranteed money, if I'm being honest with you.
Sure, it's guaranteed money. It's years. I mean, it's wide receivers and running backs. I mean, we talk about it all the time. They kind of have, depending on how long, when they restructure their rookie deal, they kind of get one shot to really make all their money in one kind of deal. So
I don't put wide receivers in the same category as running backs. Running backs shelf life.
It's not as bad, but you still don't see guys 30 years old signing 5-year, $150 million deals either.
That's right. They signed 3-year, $90 million deals like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Or I just don't think
it's not Tyreek Hill.
You're right.
I just don't think he's going to take the pay cut, seeing that. And granted, I don't think he's on these receivers levels, but seeing what Jalen Waddle got on a 3-year deal, seeing what Devonta Smith got on a 3-year deal, and both those guys are considered, at least on their team, as number 2 receivers. And then also seeing DJ Moore just got paid, Amon-Ra got paid. I just think his agent probably won't allow him to take less than a certain number.
Yeah. Derek Dempsey said he's on his dynasty team, so he better take that into consideration. And I think we should let Brandon Ayuk know he's on Derek Dempsey's dynasty team. Like that has to be something he thinks about when he's going through his trade process.
You just named a bunch of guys that are either bona fide number ones or they're guys that are 1As on Super Bowl caliber teams right now.
We did this already, but I want to ask.
That's what Brandon Ayuk is, though.
I don't think he is.
He's a one. He's not a 1A on a Super Bowl winning team.
I don't think he's a 1A. No.
On his team right now.
We'll do this on air real quick because we kind of already almost did it, but I really want to take everything out of it.
It's not about comparison to who he is, though. Like, for me, at least. I'm saying 1A on his team right now. I mean, he was second team All-Pro guy last year. I can't say he's not a 1A on his team. On his team.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Would you take him or Deebo Samuel for one season?
I'm taking Brandon Ayuk personally.
I'm taking Deebo Samuel.
I'm taking Deebo.
All right, so we're gonna play Brandon Ayuk or real quick, okay? And we'll see where we get. And now this is Brandon Ayuk, your opinion, not what the consensus of NFL.com is. Your opinion, okay? I really want to hear this because you might have him rated higher than I do. So can we eliminate all the ones that we shouldn't even talk about? Jettas, CD, Jamar, Tyreek, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra. Let's take all 7 of them out. Is that cool?
Yeah, I mean the top bona
waste
fide
of time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turncoat Justin Louder's here. I see you.
So hold on. So we take those 7 out. Those 7 are gone. Let's play a game of who you want on your team, Brandon Ayuk or. Okay.
Time out. I want to clarify something because this is how this came up. Are we saying we want Brandon Ayuk as over this guy as a second, or we want this guy over Ayuk as the one?
You're going to replace him. So, like, I'll give you an example, right? We'll start with Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle or Brandon Ayuk?
Okay, so you're if we're replacing him in the current situation, so he would be the 2 next to Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Okay, fair. Okay. Ready to go. Jalen Waddle's right there.
I would take Jalen Waddle also.
I would as well.
Brandon Ayuk or Devontae Smith?
Smith.
Take Smitty.
I'm taking Smitty also. Brandon Ayuk. See, I got to go a little bit down. I got to go a little bit down the rabbit hole. Brandon Ayuk or DK Metcalf?
I'm taking DK.
I'm taking DK also.
Probably taking DK.
Okay. Brandon Ayuk or Marvin Harrison Jr. this year?
I'm taking Ayuk this year.
I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr.
This year, I'm taking Ayuk. I mean, if you're asking me 3 years from now, I don't think it's a conversation.
If you're asking me next year, I don't think it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon Ayuk or Stephon Diggs?
Taking Ayuk.
I'm taking Ayuk there too. I think Stephon Diggs is washed. I really do.
I don't think he's washed. I don't think he's washed. He's just not. He's on the other side of it now.
Him going to Houston is a perfect spot for him because they have 2 guys that can be number 1 and number 2 receivers on that team.
Brandon Ayuk or Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, right? So like he's not in our top 10 stratosphere.
No,
I mean, we just named a bunch of guys. He's not in the top 20 then.
No, he's in the top 20. He's in your top 20.
We're at like 17 or 18.
We're at like 12, and we've said 2 people that.
But that's that's after we took the 8 off.
But I'm saying we took him over Diggs, and we took him over Marvin Harrison Jr.
just for this season. Brandon Ayuk and Chris Olave.
I'm
taking Olave.
There's more.
Go ahead, keep adding.
The only other one that I can think of that I know is for me for sure over him would be DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
But like I think after you get past DJ Moore, that's exactly where Ayuk falls in.
Brandon Ayuk or Keenan Allen for one season.
I'm taking Ayuk right now.
I don't know, bro. Keenan Allen, what do you have? Last
year? I mean, if Keenan Allen stays healthy, he's on the field, dude. Keenan Allen's a better receiver.
He is, but right now I'm taking Ayuk. I think he's better than Keenan at this point. I think he's better than Michael Pittman.
Stop it. I would take Ayuk over Pickens, bro. Stop it. George Pickens. Just see if anybody has a different opinion. I'll take Ayuk here.
I'm taking Ayuk all day there.
All right.
George Pickens probably
It's a good one. That's a good one for a season. This guy gets all he does is catch 1,000 yards. Mike Evans.
Close. Oh my God.
I would take Ayuk.
I'm taking Evans.
Barely.
You said it's not close. That's crazy.
The dude puts up 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns every single year he's been in the NFL.
It's
empty stats.
It's absolutely insane
for one season. I'm sorry. If you're guaranteeing me 1,200 yards, 100 receptions, and 10 touchdowns over what a guy might do as a 1A, give me Mike Evans. He's the absolute sure thing. And he's done it on crap teams sometimes.
Are you Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper.
So
he's not top 20. I'm telling you. If you really want to write,
I am so glad that you guys are on the same page as me with this. All right, guys, we want to talk about more NFL training camp stuff, but the Brandon Ayuk talk was very fun. No, I can't do that. I take Ayuk over Tank though. I can't do that.
I'm taking Ayuk. He's not top 20 though. He's not.
He's just in the 15-20 range.
I will write all these down when we get off the air, and then I'm almost sure I can get 20 people that are better, that we would all agree are better than Ayuk.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to talk about these rookie quarterbacks. Let's start in New England. Drake May has looked so bad that they're calling for Joe Milton in New England. Joe Milton's looked special. 6th round draft pick Joe Milton has looked special. Is this a situation of Matt Flynn, Russell Wilson?
No, absolutely not. Joe Milton. I promise you, Joe Milton will be a tight end or a receiver within the next 3 years. That's just what he's going to be. He's a freak athlete. He has a strong arm. He can't read defenses. He makes horrible decisions. He doesn't know how to layer.
And I love it.
Layer anything as far as passes go, things like that. So the arm talent is there. I'll give him that. But you need more than arm talent to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Been saying it for 5 years. I've known about Joe Milton long before a lot of other people did. Went to Michigan for 2 years and washed out. Everything that Cottrell just said is 1,000,000% spot on. You watch the guy run, you watch him throw, and all his recruitment tapes and everything. You're like, God damn, I got to have this guy. And you put a defense across from him, and he pisses down his leg. He does not read defenses. He is a one-look guy. If that guy's open or remotely open and he thinks he can get it there, it's going. If not, he's probably going to throw it to the other team or he's going to run. Those are your options with him. It is – I don't know if New England thinks there's some weird 6th-round Michigan connection to Tom Brady, but it is not Joe Milton, I promise you. I promise you it is not Joe Milton.
Appreciate you, Justin. Another training camp conversation. What week do you think JJ McCarthy starts for the Minnesota Vikings? Because he's another one that all reports out of training camp is he has looked awful.
See, I think those are false reports because I've seen all of the legit Minnesota beat writers and stuff talking about him, and they said he's been absolutely phenomenal throughout camp. I say week 1.
Will you say week 1? I'll say week 1 of 2025.
No, he's going to start at some point next year.
Sam Darnold starts the entire year.
I don't think so. I disagree. You don't like JJ, so you're anti JJ.
Not anti JJ.
Everything you're anti.
It's not anti JJ if you don't. I don't think he's good. I'm not allowed to think he's not good.
You don't think he's good because you're listening to trolls on
no, because I watch him play football.
Okay, I think you watch you don't watch with unbiased eyes then.
Bro, didn't he throw 3 interceptions versus a Division II team last year?
No. Bowling Green, they're not Division II.
I'm just checking. He doesn't look good, bro.
He does. If you watch anything to Cottrell's point, being unbiased, even though he's a Michigan guy, watch anything that actually comes from a Minnesota beat writer who's there. He's looked phenomenal, and they've all said they don't know how McConnell's not going to start him week 1. That is the consensus message coming out of Minnesota training camp right now. He's thrown 1 interception in camp. They don't know how they're going to go to Sam Darnold week 1 if he keeps playing like this. That is everybody who actually covers the team for a reputable source. Not all the anti-JJ trolls, which you clearly follow on Twitter.
Maybe I follow him on Twitter. Maybe that's who I'm following. I'll be very interested because one of us is going to be wrong about JJ McCarthy and one of us is going to be right. You're on one side of the fence. I'm on the other. Control might be on the middle of the fence. I'm on the full side of the fence. This guy's going to stink.
Again, I don't think he's going to stink. I've never said anything crazy that JJ is the next Mahomes or Josh Allen or anything. I think he's going to be a nice NFL starter. That's what I think his ceiling is.
He's going to be Kirk Cousins.
He's going to be more athletic. He'll probably be, he might be a little bit better than Kirk Cousins.
Not saying not saying throw style or like game style, but like just consistently being a starter in the NFL. That's what I project for his career. Maybe one Pro Bowl, maybe two Pro Bowls here and there, but I mean, I don't think it's anything crazy. Like I think JJ is a bona fide starter in the league.
Agreed.
Okay.
You act like he's freaking Chris Sims.
I don't think he's Chris Sims. I think he'll end up being like a fringe 20 to 25 starter in the NFL. I think he'll find his way on teams. I don't think he'll be a Pro Bowler. He might make one because they accidentally invited him because Lamar Jackson was out.
You just don't like him. It's fine.
You're right. I don't like him. And it's nothing to do with him. I don't think he's good.
There's a difference between can't and didn't have to. And I will continue to.
That's fair.
Be what
fair.
I said.
And I listened to that.
You take his top 5 throws against Caleb, Drake May, anybody, and they're just as good. He just didn't have to throw the ball 40 times a game.
Okay, he's Derek Carr. I mean, I feel like that's
he's better than Derek Carr.
I feel like that's a disservice to Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is definitely better.
I think JJ ends up being better than Derek Carr.
That's fair. What would you say, JJ McCarthy or Derek Carr career? You did the whole real recognizes real on him.
So the thing with Derek Carr is, I mean, Derek Carr in Vegas was the man. Derek Carr in New Orleans shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So if that's the case, if this is
neither did he, Kyle. Neither did you.
Yeah, I mean, Purdy's. I mean, I didn't like him, but I came around to just being like, at some point, you have to acknowledge what he's doing quicker than.
It took me 1 week last year to acknowledge it. 1 week.
That was after you bashed him for a whole year.
You're right, but 1 week after Week 1 versus Pittsburgh, I watched the tape. I watched the game. I'm like, man, I was wrong.
I'm not taking any credit in the Purdy pool there. I think we were all pretty apprehensive of him at the beginning.
100%.
I don't know too many people. I mean, Alex will probably chime in here saying that he knew Purdy was the steal of the century, but
he called it on draft night.
It's irrelevant. Oh yeah, we got one.
But I mean, I don't know too many people that were dying on the Brock Purdy hill. 2 months after the draft.
All right, but what did you say? I want to get your take on.
I think he'll be better than Derek Carr.
And then so what week do you think he starts?
I mean, listen, I think he's going to play a lot in the preseason, and I will say again, from everything I've read from actual people, if he plays in the preseason like he's playing in camp, I think they have to start him.
So you think he starts week 1? I think he starts in 2025. Cottrell, split the baby. When does he start?
I said week 1.
Oh, both of you guys think week 1. Okay. All right. I guess we'll find out. And Justin Lauder says after the bye week. You guys ready for some trivia?
I am.
Who's ready for trivia time, baby?
Wait, are we doing lineman after trivia?
We can do lineman now. It's 8:00. I figure we do 8:00 trivia and then we'll do lineman.
That's fine.
Let me get the trivia time. Where's my trivia time ticker?
Excuse me.
Did somebody delete my ticker?
Ruh-roh. I have 6. That's all I know.
Oh, there we go. Where did you get that at? It's not on my ticker.
It's under ticker.
I'm under ticker right now.
On my end, it's right under ticker.
It's under Gene's ticker.
I'm not very happy about this, but okay. All right, trivia time. So this is a very weird question. You got to pay attention. Most career passing yards in NFL history.
For a guy who tied his left shoe first and
for a guy who never has led the league in passing for a season.
Ooh.
So it's top 10 leaders in passing yards for a guy who's never led the NFL in passing for a season. Shally, you are obviously in full control.
Are we doing strikes or?
No. We're going to get through this 10. I think the strikes thing is bullshit. We're going to get through this 10. It is. We're going to get through this 10. And the first person that gets to 6 will win.
All right. I will go first.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my boy. I will go. So top 10 passing yards for somebody who's never led the league in passing yards.
Correct. That's correct.
For a career.
Yes.
I will go with my boy. I'll go with John Elway.
John Elway is not on the list. Strike 1.
Did he lead the league in passing yards or he didn't make it?
I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, great answer.
I don't have every single person.
I am going to go with Russell Wilson.
Hold on. I think he's on there. Hold on. I'm just looking up Shally's question. He led the league in pass attempts, completions, 4,000 yard season. No, he is 12th on this list.
Okay.
Who is?
Elway,
but he never led the league. You said Russell Wilson?
Yes.
That is number 8. Cottrell is on the board.
Russell Wilson.
Danger Russ.
All right, so Russ is 8th.
Strikes don't matter. I don't know. I've ever done strike 1 for Shally.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger is not on the list.
Oh, I'm glad that I did not have to throw that out there. That's for sure. The league in passing. Okay. So these guys are more recent. I'll throw it out there. Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford is on the list. He is number 4.
Oh.
Matthew Stafford is number 4.
Shit. Kind of stumped that both of them are not on the list. Phillip Rivers.
I think you have one. Phil Rivers is not on the list. He led the league in passing 1 time.
Sure.
Well, if Russ is number 8, name we throw around pretty often here, Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is not on the list. Phil Rivers led the league in passing 1 time through for 4,710 yards. Just FYI. I looked it up for you guys just to make sure my stats are correct.
I will go. Oh my god, it's got to be all like this, like kind of generation people.
So I already said this. I said this to you guys earlier. I'll say it again. Most of these you should get. Every single one of them was drafted after 1980. So there's no old quarterbacks on here, and most of them are 2000 to present.
So I figured
most of them.
I will go. See, Ben's throwing me off. I'll go with Eli Manning.
Eli Manning's number 3.
Ooh, he's 3?
Yes, he's number 3.
And Stafford was 4.
Stafford was 4.
And who else did we get?
Russell Wilson was 8.
8.
But Eli was 3.
Jesus.
Just a repeat for anybody that's just tuning in. It's the most career passing yards to have never led the NFL in passing yards.
In a season.
Yes, correct, in a season. Well, yeah, I mean, they would never lead. That would be an impossible list if they led the league in passing in their career.
Okay.
2-1 right now. I think there's 8 really. I got 7 when I did it. I think there's 8 very gettable ones. I don't think you'll get number 9.
I got one.
Good.
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo's not on the list.
Wow.
The chat's killing it. Not really. I'm kidding. There's a lot of misses in the chat. Chat had Eli.
I'm done. No.
There's one that shocked me that he never led the league in passing. The other ones make a lot of sense. Like there's two that shocked me that they never led the NFL in passing. There's two all-time great quarterbacks on this list.
What about? He probably led the league in passing. He won an MVP. It's kind of what I'm scared of here. What about Matt Ryan?
Number 1.
Ooh.
Matt Ryan's MVP season, Drew Brees led the league in passing.
Can I ask something for reference?
Sure.
Was Roethlisberger not on there because he didn't have enough yards, or because he led the league in passing?
He led the league in passing.
Okay.
All right, so I got another one here. I'm gonna go with Kurt Warner.
Damn.
Kurt Warner is not on the list.
Ooh. Oh, brother. That statement's kind of making me think there's obvious ones here that we would just assume led the league in passing. What about I'll take a shot at this one. I'll go with Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is number 2. Bill is now taking a 3-2 lead.
I kind of figured when he said that Aaron Rodgers was going to be the guy on that list. And then he said Drew Brees led the league, and I'm like, Drew took a lot of people out in a lot of years, and also playing in like the Tom era. Interesting.
So Aaron Rodgers has never led the league in passing in a season. That's crazy.
It is pretty wild if you think about it.
So right now, Bill has 1, 2, and 3. Cottrell 4 and 8. We have 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10 left.
Okay. Let's just go through here.
It was a good poll, by the way. Aaron Rodgers was the one I thought was very difficult to get because you had thought he would lead the league in passing.
He did. And when you said what you said, that's why I was like, I feel like he's the most obvious one. I mean, I figured Drew Brees led the league probably numerous times. So Rodgers just kind of the go-to guess there.
No, nobody there. I'm like going through teams here in my head.
You go through the divisions. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger led the NFL in passing in 2014, 2018. So 2 years he led the league in passing. Just FYI. I looked it up just to make sure.
Bro, I set this guy in trivia a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna just throw him out there because I know he played forever. Meet Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia is not on the list.
And Elway was wrong because he led the league in passing once.
John Elway led the league in passing in 1993. I pulled up the list just to.
Okay, it just kind of like lets me like.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'll go. I used this guy previously as well, so I'll see if he's on here. I feel like he probably led the league in passing though. I'll go with Warren Moon.
Warren Moon is not on the list.
Shit, probably led the league in passing.
Warren Moon led the league in passing in 90 and 91.
And that would be why.
I'll stay same team. Go Steve McNair.
Steve McNair is not on the list. I don't think he ever led the league in passing either. I just think he's not on the list. No, he never led the league in passing. Phillip Rivers led the league in passing in 2010. I know he was brought up earlier. Brees led the league in passing in 2006, 2008, 2011, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016. That is unbelievable, by the way. Just FYI.
He's disqualified from the list.
You guys got 5 out of 10. I'm going to wait until you get 2 or 3 more. I'm going to start giving hints after this one.
I will go. We already said Wilson.
Oh, checking the chat. No, I'm just kidding.
Does lightning strike twice with Gene's pool from last week? I will go with Vinny Testaverde.
That is number 6.
Let's go.
Vinny Testaverde, number 6.
Vinny Testaverde played for like 87 seasons, so
That's exactly what you need to be thinking about.
Actually, how many do I have?
You have 4. One more, you're guaranteed.
What's the low yardage here?
Hold on. I'm gonna get you that number right now. 40,551.
So you got to have more than 40,000 passing yards.
Yep.
Okay.
There's one quarterback on this list that I would have never in a million years thought had 40,000 passing yards. Like in my mind, my mind was blown. He was a journeyman. He stunk. I don't understand how he had 40,000 passing yards. That's just one.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, you ass.
No.
Oh.
I wouldn't have did that if it was a Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is the journeyman. I'm not giving away answers. Because Bill's up 4-2, Bill went first, but after Bill's guess here, I'll give a hint.
Wait, you can't do that.
Yeah, I have to be after mine.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a hint now, right? I'll give you a hint now. There's one Hall of Fame quarterback, absolute Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, top 10 quarterback still left on this list. There's a journeyman who still plays in the league. And there's one that just retired within 2-3 years ago. And then the number 9, I don't think you'll ever get. I don't know how I can give you a hint, but I will tell you that he was a quarterback of in the mid-90s, mid-90s, all through 2000s. On numerous different teams.
I think I know one.
So there's a no doubt about Hall of Famer. There's a guy still in the league. There's a guy just retired recently, like within 3 years. And there's a guy that I don't know how you can ever get them.
Is one of the guys left? Has he won a Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, 1, 2, at least 2 guys on this list have won Super Bowls that are left.
Oh, Bill, I feel like you're about to take it from me.
I'm going with Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco is number 7. That's 5 for Bill.
Yep. See, I knew that was where he was going. As soon as you said Super Bowl, I was like, "Yep, Flacco."
Number 7.
All right. So
we already said Rivers Godfrey.
I'll get you number 11 if Cottrell 5-5s it. I'll find number 11.
Is that the guy? That's the guy who's still in the league. There's a no doubt about it Hall of Famer, top 10 quarterback all time on this list. Okay. Let's go with, let's see, top 10. Who do you want to throw out from the top 10?
I think I know.
Screw.
I think
throw him out.
Go ahead.
Joe Montana.
That is number 10. That is absolutely correct. Joe Montana is number 10. He's the one with 40,000 and change. Okay. Bill, you're up.
So it's 5-3.
Yes.
There's 2 left.
If you get one of those 2, you win. Oh my God. I can't even believe number 9 is on this list. I just looked it up just to make sure I was wrong. I was right. Number 5 is very gettable.
I think I know 5.
You get 5, you win.
Actually, wait, that wouldn't make sense. He has too many yards. You said Joe was what?
10.
And he's at like 40,000. Yeah, he's got way too many yards to be 5. And who was 1?
Matt Ryan. You want to know how many career Matt Ryan has?
He's got to be 65.
62,792.
going to go. I've used this guy before too. I will go. I will go with Carson. I'll go with Carson Palmer.
That is number 5. Carson Palmer. Bill wins. That is number 5. Number 9, guys. If you want to take a shot at it, you can take a shot at it.
What's the team?
He played for 6 different teams.
And you said it was from the
Most
late
notably,
90s.
I would say the Carolina Panthers.
Jake Delhomme?
Nope. That's the whole point. That's what my mind. You know what most notably is? I'll give you one. I'll give you the hint. It's over already. Most notably, the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Kerry Collins?
That is correct.
Wow.
Number 9, Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins
40,000.
was around.
Neither one of us were guessing Kerry Collins. I promise you that.
What?
I don't know why, but when I hear Kerry Collins, I like my first thought is Titans.
Is it?
I would have said Giants.
See what I mean?
I didn't remember he played for the Titans, so you just said that.
I thought he did.
Did he?
I'll pull it up right now. He played for Tennessee for 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought about.
How long did he play for the Giants for?
5 years.
Well,
5
I mean, he was
3
in
years
Tennessee
in Carolina, and he opened he basically started this career there. He was their franchise quarterback when they came into the league. That's why I remembered him. Carolina, the Giants from '99 to 2003. He was a Raider for 2004, 2005. He was a Titan from 2006 to 2010. And his last career year, he was 0-3 before he retired as an Indianapolis Colt.
Jesus. That's a trivia question.
Yeah.
What teams did Kerry Collins play for?
All right. Well, that was trivia this week. Hope you guys had fun with it. Bill with another win. He has to come up with the question next week. The only good thing about next week is Bill won't be able to win again. Oh, no, damn it. He gets to stay. Never mind. Katros. All right. So let's get into our offensive linemen, our hogs list. If you didn't see, our 10 through 6 are posted on the page. Look, the Olympic medals. Wow. Okay. We did a pretty good job in top 3 guys. Look at Shall. I don't have Laramie Tunsil on my list. Katros has him 6. Shally has him 3. Look at Joe Batonia. I like that. I almost put him on my list, but
I saw him later. I saw him when I was doing mine, and I was like, Cottrell's definitely gonna have him.
I mean,
yeah, so
he was close to being on my list. But go ahead, start us off, Cottrell.
Number 5 for me, I got Joel Bitonio. I mean, this is a guy who's model of consistency. I mean, he's been a Pro Bowler for the last 6 straight years. Guy that's been consistently all pros. He was an first team all pro in 2021, 2022. This year missed out on it, but again, just getting to see this guy firsthand here. Joel Bitonio is consistently like the heart of that Cleveland Browns offensive lineman, and it definitely helps that they had Bill Callahan, teaching them things, and at a point, it felt like Bill Callahan is, if not the best, one of the best offensive line coaches in all of football. So Joel Bitonio really getting to learn from him and just add on to all the skills that he had. I think it's great for him. And Joel has the luxury of playing alongside a lot of, really good other offensive linemen that make his job a lot easier. So I'm going with Joel Bitonio here. I think he's going to go into 2024 and have an all-pro season.
Number 5 for me, I got Lane Johnson, the Philadelphia Eagles. Been a stalwart at right tackle. A lot of people think he's on the decline, and he's, last year turned around and led all tackles with an 82.4% win rate. I do think my list is kind of like a mix of guys that I think have one more absolute elite great year left in them, and then guys that are kind of young on the way up. I think Lane Johnson has one more absolute crazy elite year left in him. I think we're going to get it this year. Like I said, against the run, he's still the best in the league for tackles. Pass defense, he went on a crazy run for, I think it was like 3 years, that allowing a sack. As long as he can stay healthy, there is no doubt in my mind the guy's a top 5 lineman in the league. So he starts off my list at number 5.
Lane made my list at number 5 because I know he can bounce back from the way he finished last year. He did not have a good end of 2023, but he's been the best right tackle in football for the last 5 to 6 years. I think Lane bounces back this year. I think that, his right ankle injury really plagued him near the end of 2023, and I think he'll bounce right back into form in 2024. A guy that I put on my list number 4 last year was making me look like an absolute genius. 9 weeks into the season, he was the second highest graded offensive lineman in the whole NFL, and that was Jordan Mailata. Now, while Jordan Mailata definitely fell off near the end of the season, he still finished as the number 3 graded pass blocker and the number 5 graded run blocker in the NFL. For a guy that's still really, I can't say learning the position, but he's coming into his prime. He's an absolute monster. He's a beast at his position. To finish number 3 in pass win rate and number 5 in run block win rate, he lands right number 4 on my list.
I was curious to see where Jordan was going to end up on your list. Number 4 for me, I have Tristan Wirfs from Tampa Bay. He's one of the young guys that I still think has not played his best season yet. Super crazy talented. They switched him from right tackle to left tackle last year, and he fell right in line. Top 5 in both win rate for pass and rush. I think he's just going to get better. He's going to get even more comfortable on the left side this year. This is a guy who, in the next couple of years, is probably number 1 on everybody's list. Just got paid, just got his money, so he's got the security blanket of the contract already. I think he's just going to continue to dominate. Like I said, he's going to be another full year on the left side and be comfortable. Dude is a stud. Big guy, strong, great footwork. He's just getting better. Like I said, I don't think he's come close to playing his best season yet. Tristan Wirfs, number 4 for me.
Number 4 for me is a guy who was about to take over as the best center in football, and that's Creed Humphrey. Last year, I had Creed ahead of Jason Kelce, and I was sadly mistaken. Jason Kelce still, even in his last year, was the all-pro first teamer that we knew he would be consistently year in and year out. But I think Creed Humphrey will be taking that crown now. Creed is absolutely phenomenal in the run and in the pass. And the nice thing about Creed is that he gets to have Patrick Mahomes under center, who really helps, I'm sure, make his job a lot easier. Creed's a great athlete, coming out of Oklahoma. That was really the selling point on Creed. You can pull him. He doesn't just have to stay there, and he just has the ability to have anybody run right behind him. Not to mention he has Joe Tooney, who's one of the best guards in all of football, right beside him as well. I think Creed Humphrey has all the tools to be the best center in football for the next 5 years if he wants to be, and I think him playing in Kansas City is perfect for him. So I like Creed Humphrey at number 4. Number 3 for me is Tristan Wirfs of the Buccaneers. Just got paid his money and absolutely deserved every single penny that he got. Tristan Wirfs is going to be a stalwart in this league for a really long time. I think it's shown you that he has the versatility, playing some right, playing left, that he can really do it all. And you mentioned, Bill, that you think he's going to be the best tackle in football. I think it's going to be really fun what you see between him and Panay for the years to come, because these guys are going to be the face of that position for the foreseeable future. Love Tristan Wirfs here. Just the fact that the 2 guys that I have ahead of him, I just think are ultimately, better players at this point.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like I said, my list is a mix of guys that I think have a year or 2 of elite seasons left in them, and then obviously 2 and 4 who I think are, like I said, the future of this list, and the future of kind of all the great offensive linemen in the league. Number 3, I got Larry Tunsil from Houston, a guy that 2 years ago battled injuries, still had a win rate over 85% last year, healthy. Pass win rate of 91.6, good for number 2 in the league. On a Houston line that's getting better and better. He's not getting the best guy every single down anymore. Still a relatively young guy, so he'll be 29 this year. A guy that is gonna, he's just locks down. He's huge, 6'6", 313 pounds. He's committed 10 or less penalties, two 2 seasons in a row, which is number 1 in the league. I think he's a guy that made mistake when he was younger, and I think still some people hold that over him. But as far as regards what happened on the field, I think he's dominant left tackle. He's definitely top 2 or 3 in the league. Number 3 on my list.
Number 3 on my list is Tristan Wirfs, and I think that Tristan, moving from right tackle to left tackle last year showed you everyone was worried about how that would transition. Well, he finished as the second graded pass blocking left tackle in the whole NFL. So Tristan Wirfs has proven how amazing he can be. And I really don't need to describe much. The guy is dominant, and he did it. He moved from right side to the left side and can do it on both sides of the line. You talk to a lot of linemen that had to move from right tackle to left tackle, and they say think about you being left-handed and have to do everything right-handed. That's how difficult it is to switch sides of the line. Tristan Wirfs did it with ease and finishes the second graded pass blocker in the NFL. So Tristan Wirfs is my number 3. My number 2 is a guy that we've seen coming a mile away. I remember the draft night and talking about him when he was getting drafted. Penei Sewell is a Hall of Famer, just what he is. And he's proven to be every bit of that. He's an absolute anchor on probably the best offensive line in football now with him and Frank Ragnow. Penei Sewell is absolutely dominant, and he lands at my number 2 because this kid is just young and getting better and better and better. He finishes a grade, a 95.1 run blocking grade, which was number 1 in the NFL. So that's why Penei Sewell is my number 2.
He's number 2 for me as well. And again, he stays healthy, continues to play. Just book your ticket to Canton to watch him get inducted because that's the path that we're on. 6'5", 335. Guy plays with an edge, but he plays clean. Gene mentioned it. Over 95% win rate pass block. 600 some dropbacks last year, only allowed 4 sacks. What makes him elite is he is both top 3 in win rate for both run and pass. The guy does both at an elite level. He is the absolute future of this position. Young, already got his money. Like Gene said, he's part of one of the best lines in football. He's going to have another dominant year, and it's going to be hard to not. I wouldn't be surprised when we do this next year if he's on the number 1 line for all 3 of us. That's how good he is.
Yeah, Penei Sewell, like Gene said, guy that we saw coming a mile away. I remember, doing the pre-draft stuff about Penei, and I said, this guy to me it's crazy to say, but this guy to me is a no doubt about it Hall of Famer. Like, I think we're going to be talking about him and Orlando Pace in the same conversations when his career is all said and done. And
you said that before he was drafted.
Yeah, that was before he got drafted there. So definitely made me look good for sure there. But Penei is an absolute animal on that Detroit Lions offensive line. And the crazy thing about him is that he played left tackle in college, so he had the opposite of what Tristan Wirfs had to do. He played left tackle really his entire career, got to the NFL. The Lions had a left tackle already. They moved him to the right, and he's been absolutely phenomenal there. But again, Penei is the absolutely incredible athlete where down the line, later on in his career, if they need to move him to left, they probably will. And he's just going to be the, consistent pro that he is there. Penei has been nothing but a model of consistency up there in Detroit. And I mean, he's really built a culture for that offensive line. Like Bill said, he's a guy that he plays with an edge, but he plays clean. And that's just what they do under Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's getting the most out of those guys up there. Penei Sewell will be number 1 whenever my number 1, Trent Williams, decides to hang up those cleats. At this point, it's just insane that Trent Williams has been able to keep this pace up and just consistently go at this rate. For him to be, really approaching 40 at any point, for him to still be the mauler that he is, and San Francisco being able to put him out there on the edge and just basically run down these linebackers, these new age linebackers that are hybrid safeties and things like that, and just maul them over, and then also still having the anchor to protect in pass protection. It's absolutely incredible. Trent Williams definitely, for me, has to be bona fide number 1 offensive lineman in football, and I didn't really have any problem putting him there.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing for me, we started the list, I wrote it down, just put him number 1, and construct it where I wanted to put the 9 guys after this. He is 35 years old, to Cottrell's point. The only thing that's probably going to diminish his skill is when his body actually starts to betray him. And we didn't see it yet. He misses a game here or there, something like that, gets a little nicked up. But like Cottrell said, come playoff time, he's smashing people at the line, and then he's getting downfield and killing a linebacker. 95.6 against the pass last year, number 1 in the NFL. Guy plays with an edge, maybe not as clean sometimes. He can get a little nasty, but that's also why guys don't like going up against him. They fear him, and he is the absolute epitome of the standard of the best tackle in the league. And he stays there for one more year on my list.
Yeah, he finished with a 98-point grade as a run blocker too. You want to know how good Trent Williams is? I'm just going to help you real quick. The 49ers played without Trent Williams for 3 games last year. You're talking about a Super Bowl team. What do you think their record was without Trent Williams?
Probably 0-3.
0-3.
Yeah.
They scored 14, 17, and 17 points versus Atlanta, Minnesota and Cincinnati.
Yeah, I know that stretch. He got hurt in the Browns game.
Yep. He was 0-3 last year without him. And I'll tell you right now, it's not just how good of a left tackle he is. It's like when you're walking into the fight and you have the toughest guy on your side. The confidence he brings, the absolute bodyguard protection he brings. Think about the confidence you have to have at quarterback to have that massive human being having your back. It's funny. We talked about who's the most important player to the 49ers. Some people said Brock Purdy because he's the quarterback. Some people said Christian McCaffrey because he's been the all-world running back. I always think the answer is Trent Williams until Trent Williams isn't there. That guy makes people just look better. It's not just how good of an lineman he is. It's how good of a leader he is. And Trent Williams lands number 1 on my list because I don't think I could say that about another offensive lineman in football.
All right. Next week, we're starting to get into the skills.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do tight ends next week?
Tight ends next week.
We are in the Big 12. Big 12. New members. Listen, Prime's getting himself a little bit more flexibility, moving from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. Arizona State, Utah. It's funny. When I look at this, and I mean this when I say this, right? I don't want to go too far. You guys are the college football gurus of this show, and there's no doubt about it. Just listen to Coast to Coast. Those guys absolutely know what they're talking about. But I could see a Big 12 final between 2 new members.
Ooh.
I could easily see that. But let's break
down.
Colorado.
Colorado's not one of them.
No, it's not where I was at one. But let's break down the Big 12. Cottrell, why don't you start us off? We'll go top to bottom, and we'll break down what you're looking at the Big 12 and who your Big 12 champion is.
All right, yeah. So, I think for me, Big 12 is a conference that, we talked about a little bit on Coast to Coast. I think they did what they could with the hand that was ultimately dealt to them. Obviously, losing Texas and losing Oklahoma are going to be big blows, but scooping these 4 teams from the Big 12 and, Colorado being an OG Big 12 team to begin with, I think that definitely matters, and I think they did a good job with what they got. For me, surprise team out this conference, I think it's going to be Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a team that only got 1 win last year, and I talked about this on Coast to Coast as well. I think with them bringing in QB transfer Brendan Sorsby from Indiana, I think this Bearcats team is going to be poised to not only be bowl eligible, but be a team down the line that's looking at 7-8 wins and potentially trying to steal a spot in the Big 12 championship game. But ultimately, for me, I like Utah going to the conference championship game in their first year, and I like them to go up against. Who did I have them up against?
I thought you took Kansas
Utah.
State,
No, I had Utah going up against Kansas. Original Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks. I love Jalen Daniels. I think Jalen Daniels has, really had the Big 12 turn upside down these past couple years. He's just been struggling to get through an entire season. He gets the injury bug at literally the worst possible times. But having Daniels and Devin Neal there in that backfield, I think it's just going to be too much throughout the season. If those guys stay healthy, I think they're going to be one of the teams to beat in this conference. And the other thing is that this Kansas team gets to play in Arrowhead Stadium every single week while their home stadium gets rebuilt. So I think that will be a positive for them. We know how loud Arrowhead can get. And then with Utah, with what they bring back, I believe the number is 72%. They're bringing back 72% total production from the 2023 season, and that doesn't include Cam Rising. And we know Cam Rising, when he's healthy, he's got 2 Pac-12 championships under his belt already. It's going to be a 7th year in college. So you have a true pro or a true vet at Utah at the helm with all that you bring back everywhere. I just think Utah is going to be too strong to keep out of this Big 12 championship game. And ultimately, I like Utah winning Big 12 in their first year and going to the college football playoff.
I'm not going to go too deep into this. Cottrell already mentioned it. I think when we did this on Coast to Coast, I think we talked about 9 or 10 of these, 14 teams as having some legitimate shot of maybe sneaking into the conference championship game. I think it's going to be kind of wide open. To me, I think Utah's the team to beat. I agree with Cottrell on that one. I think they're one of my Big 12 finalists. I also agree. I think they did the best they could. I think you look at any conference, if you took, Michigan and Ohio State out of the Big 10 or Alabama and Georgia out of the SEC, like what you could scramble to get to replace them, it would never be sufficient. And I think they circled the wagons the best they could. I think geographically, I think the conference works, and I think you'll get some new rivalries. And I think if they keep everybody, pat here and kind of get some stability in the next couple of years, I think the Big 12 could be fun like it always is. I think it's going to be, looking at all these teams, I think it's going to be a lot of offense and not a lot of defense, which is kind of no different than it was when Oklahoma and Texas were there. So, but I agree with Cottrell. I think with what Utah is coming back, on top of that, getting Cam Rising back, I think Kyle Whittingham, we talked about as well. I think he's a top 10 coach in the country. I think it'll be really interesting to see his name come up this year, depending on how the rest of the season goes. Because I think there could conceivably be a couple really big programs with openings. And Kyle Whittingham's just a hell of a coach, man. He is he's a tough kind of grinder, hard-nosed type guy. And Utah plays a certain brand of football. They like to run the ball first. They've always have really good offensive, defensive lines. That'll be no different this year. Like I said, they get Cam Rising back. I can't think of tight end's name off the top of my head, but they get him back as well. Brett Cooley, that's him. He'll be a big weapon. We've seen with Dalton Kincaid and other people how well Utah likes to feature their tight end. And they have a bunch of studs coming back on defense. I think they're the team to beat in the Big 12. Their opponent, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. I'm going to go with Mike Gundy and I am 40 and all the boys. They have a ton coming back. They have almost their entire starting defense returning from last year. Ollie Gordon, the all-everything running back, really deep wide receiver room, pretty good offensive line. I believe they returned 3 or 4 starters out of the 5. Big question mark for them is going to be Alec Bowman. If he can stop throwing the ball to the other team and cut down on his turnovers and play within the system, I think Oklahoma State's going to be really tough to beat. They have a lot of experience and a lot of good players at skill positions. So I'm going Utah, Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game, and I'm going to go Utah to win and go to the college football playoff. And Oklahoma State may be grabbing that large bid. I think they'll be on the fringe there, but I got Utah winning the Big 12.
This is going to be a sweep for us. I already previewed it. I told you guys. I think Utah is the best team in this conference. Cam Rising coming back. I think they win the Big 12. Now, who do they go against, right? Now, the Kansas Jayhawks had a very good offense the last few years, but they're running a new offensive scheme as their offense coordinator got plucked. He's now the offense coordinator at Penn State. So it will be a different scheme in Kansas. Now, Kansas State's offense coordinator got plucked. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I do like Avery Johnson. I do like the quarterback who won the MVP of the Popcorn Bowl or whatever hell bowl he was in versus North Carolina State. I'm going Kansas State in the finals against Utah, but don't be surprised. My sleeper team in this conference is Arizona. I think Arizona's going to be a good football team this year, and I'll take Arizona as my third ahead of Kansas and Oklahoma State. So I have Utah winning versus Kansas State.
I like Arizona too, and we definitely mentioned that on Coast to Coast. I mean, I think arguably they have second, maybe third best quarterback in the entire conference. So they got the best receiver in the conference. There's no doubt about that. So I think Arizona could definitely be a team that not only competes for a Big 12 championship spot, but could be a team towards the end of the year that we're looking at is maybe even submitting their spot into the college football playoff as an at-large team.
All I want to say is Andy Colton-Nicky, if that guy is the offense coordinator he was last year at Kansas, at Penn State, you better look out for some Drew Aller fun this year, because that's all I'm looking at this Big 12. I'm looking at us swiping the best offense coordinator in the Big 12 and moving him over to Penn State and getting Drew Aller some help, because that's what I want to see.
Sure will be fine.
I sure hope so, because if I got to watch another wing offense with two running backs to his right and left and a running back behind him with a quarterback like the arm of Drew Aller, I'm going to throw my controller through the goddamn TV.
I mean, we're not even talking about the Big Ten, but I'll just say it here, get it out there on record. Drew Aller is going to be a future first-round pick.
I don't disagree with that, but it has nothing to do with how good Penn State will be this year.
Oh, I mean, we'll get there with Big Ten week, but Drew Aller.
Listen, Drew Aller's not going to be Penn State's problem this year. It's as simple as that. If they can figure out everything around him, to Gene's point, they're going to be their third offensive coordinator in 3 years. If they can figure out everything around him and just let that kid drop back and play football, Penn State will be good and be a problem. If not, they will be exactly like they were last year.
I don't have any fear of Penn State being a good defense. I have no fear about them having the quarterback that can play the position. What I have fear of, and I will continue to have fear of, is how can we mess this game up? And every single time I turn on a Penn State game,
he's good for one. You said you're not going undefeated. Just put one in the bank. Just put one in the bank. You're starting the year 11-1 at best.
You kind of got to hope that it's just like that one like bonehead game happens against like one of the best teams in the country. Like,
I'll never forget the 4th and 2 versus Ohio State at our own 44-yard line, in which they burnt a timeout, and then they came out of the timeout to run a read option with Sean Clifford and didn't give the ball up, and he got smashed in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. I will never forget that. You had Ohio State on the ropes in Happy Valley and decided you wanted to piss down your leg in the biggest moment of the game. James Franklin, I really hope that you just play the Nick Sirianni role for Penn State. You keep being rah-rah recruiter. You keep being rah-rah cheerleader. Let the offensive coordinator handle his job. Let the defense coordinator handle his job and stay the hell out of play calling.
Fair enough.
That's where I'm at, right? And like the whole, I'm not getting off the Nick Sirianni thing, but that's lipstick on a pig, man. That's what it is. You're putting lipstick on a pig. Kellen Moore's going to run the offense. Vic Fangio's going to run the defense. And Nick Sirianni's going to stand there and be like, yes, Jeffrey. Yes, Howie. Whatever you say, Jeffrey. Whatever you say, Howie. Because it's lipstick on a friggin' pig.
To be fair, I'm going to give you guys some hope here. John Harbaugh has done that in Baltimore for ages.
You're correct.
And we see it works. So maybe he can find the right system here. And you see Baltimore doesn't keep the same coordinators all the time. Like, they run through their coordinators. They get plucked. So, Sirianni's been to a bowl. Maybe he can have the same effect that Harbaugh does.
I'd say Harbaugh's a way better coach, but same.
I mean,
I do agree.
The premise, though.
Before we get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me, I do want to talk about headlines for a little bit. Number one headline right now on ESPN, number one headline I've seen is the NCAA punishing Jim Harbaugh for unethical conduct. Now, you have two Big Ten guys here, Ohio State guy and Michigan guy. I would love to hear your take on this. I thought Jim Harbaugh had one of the best press conferences ever when he goes, this is the way I was taught as a child, to apologize when you're wrong. And I am up here not apologizing. Like, I love that press conference. I love that mentality. But he did throw Michigan under the bus. if you didn't catch it, he goes, I had nothing to do with the things they were doing. So, like, I don't know if he threw like a couple guys under the bus or if he threw the Michigan University under the bus. But what he did was he said, I had nothing to do with that. So I'm not apologizing. I was not aware of those things.
He didn't really throw anybody under the bus per se, because he said from the their stance from the get-go is that they didn't know what Connor was doing. So he's been consistent with that from the get-go. Everything the NCAA has found has coincided and backed that up. There's no connection between Connor, Jesse, Connor, Sharon, Connor, Jim, anybody that was on the upper staff. So that, the whole notice of allegations not come out yet, but everything that's been released through Pete Thamel or leaked, whatever you want to call it.
Well, Sharon Moore's in the biggest trouble because he's been accused of deleting all the text messages. Like, that's the big thing that we're leaving out.
They were deleted and recovered, and they show no connection to Connor Stallions. That's the part everybody keeps leaving out. He can get in trouble for not. It's going to be the same thing as Jim Harbaugh. If they want to say he didn't cooperate with the investigation, is what it is. But at the end of the time, they still can't punish him for it. If you've watched any of the Jim Harbaugh stuff, his lawyer pretty much came out and just blew the NCAA up and showed the email where they said, if you don't hand over your phone and all your 6,200 emails on your personal computer in the next 24 hours, we're just going to find you guilty, which is what they did. It's whatever, man. It's
Netflix has a documentary on their hands, and I am waiting for it. August 27th, Sign Stealer, Connor Stallions, and Netflix will be releasing a documentary. I am ready to watch that documentary. And the fact that they did it during week 0 is no mistake. They did that. That was so intentional.
Me and Cottrell actually talked about this, I think, yesterday. I'm curious to hear the guy actually talk. And I think he's going to be kind of a little bit quirky. I think you're going to be able to tell that he's obviously a little bit weird and a little bit out there. He's obviously exceptionally smart. As regards to some dramatic thing that's going to come out of it, I think people are going to be disappointed. I think he's proven from the get-go that he was willing to fall on the sword for the team. I don't think there's going to be some dramatic, thing to come out of it. I think people are going to be disappointed. I could be wrong. That's just my take on it. I'm going to watch it just like everybody else. I'm definitely intrigued to watch it. I just don't think we're going to learn any earth-shattering stuff out of there that either we haven't heard yet or hasn't come out in like the NCAA report or something like that. I don't think we're going to get that moment because at that point he would be, I guess, kind of doing an about face how he's acted so far. Like I said, I could be wrong. So that's my personal take on it.
Cottrell, I'd love your opinion.
As far as the gym thing goes, I mean, the NCAA basically, I saw this comparison on Twitter, and I mean, it's spot on. They basically told a kid that just graduated from school that will never be back, that they got detention, that they have to serve that if they ever come back. Jim Harbaugh's not going back to college. There's nothing else left for him to prove. The only job that would bring him back would be Michigan. But if all things go to plan there, Sharon Moore's going to have that job for the next 20, 25 years. So I think it's dumb that the NCAA ultimately came out and did this now. I guess I get it just from like a quite literally dotting your I's and crossing your T's standpoint. But I mean, this is absolutely dumb. And the crazier part about it is that a lot of people aren't mentioning is that this has nothing to even do with the whole Connor Stallions thing. No, this is the cheeseburger gate that we talked about 2 years ago at this point. And they're doing all this, work afterwards, basically saying like, hey, we gave them the punishment, basically just trying to clear their name out there in front of everybody in the media. So I'm not really buying it. I think this was a pointless thing. I understand you have to get something just out there on the books for, committing the violation there, but this is pointless. Jim Harbaugh's never coming back to college, and so nobody's affected here.
All right, well, let's move on to You Gotta Be Kidding Me. It's 8:56 right now, so let's get in. You Gotta Be Kidding Me. Cottrell, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so mine this week is just going to be the Olympics the Olympics committee in general in terms of their rules and how they've been referencing certain things. You would think that with this being the biggest event, in sports and things like that, Gene, you went on last week about how Coco got a raw deal there in her situation there. We've seen other games like Rui Hachimura getting ejected in his game for what happened there, and they went to replay and kept him ejected. Like, I just don't think that there's been a lot of consistency, and you would think at this level you would always get that. But for me, I'm just going to go to a specific policy here. And again, a lot of things getting confirmed hasn't quite happened yet. But what we know is that before the women's 100-meter final, Sha'Carri Richardson, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, they got to the practice facility to go out on the warm-up track, and they were told that they weren't going to be let in because of a rule change that happened overnight that they were seemingly made unaware of. Now, with that said, there's been conflicting reports there, like they knew about it. Some say that they didn't. Regardless, feels dumb to change a rule literally after the athletes are already there, and you hold these IOC meetings literally every year at this point. So for me, just the Olympic Committee just not really having everything all together here. When it's been 3 years since our last Olympics, you would think they would have everything in place to make sure that there's as much equal competition and just clear guidelines of rules and everything like that set out for everybody that's competing here. This week for me, IOC.
Kidding me.
Shally.
I don't really have one.
Okay.
I guess I could. I mean, I could go with my two co-hosts, both failing to wish me a happy birthday on the show last week and missing.
Well, it was this week because it was Monday.
We always do it the show before.
No.
Don't make me go back. Cottrell's 0 for 2. Cottrell had another chance on Saturday. He's still messed up, but no, I'm just kidding. I really don't have one.
I walked up to you on Monday, sent you a heartfelt text message on Monday, and confirmed with you on Saturday night.
You called me a bastard on my thing. Don't make me play it for the listeners.
I mean, you kind of are a bastard.
That's not very nice.
I'm just kidding. Mine is a fun one this week, and it's just I feel like he's been my favorite whipping boy over the summer, and I'm going to use It's going to be Joel Embiid again.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why it's Joel Embiid this week. If you didn't watch during the Puerto Rico game, Joel Embiid actually had a good game. And he's dribbling the ball out as the time is running out, and he's taunting the crowd. And it's the most Joel Embiid thing you can ever do. He's taunting the crowd, and I think it was Jose Alvarado tried to steal the ball from him. He sees him trying to steal the ball from him and proceeds to shoot an air ball as time's running out as he's holding the ball. Taunting the crowd, pulls back the ball from Alvarado, shoots an air ball. I figured that would be enough humiliation for Joel Embiid for 1 week. It was not. In the next game, Team USA played. He had a very good first half. This is back-to-back good games for Mr. Joel Embiid. And in that first half, he got on a run. He had a three-pointer and decides to do the suck it chant again that he got fined from in the NBA for doing. I don't think he has any concept of why that's inappropriate for television, but Joel Embiid maturity is constantly showing on the basketball court. And for that, this week, I'll have a little fun with it. Joel Embiid.
Kidding me.
I don't get him. I really don't. I really do like him. And there's nobody been a bigger fan than him, especially on this show than me. But his maturity level is just maddening to watch. Tim said he has no shame.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get it. And it's funny because I actually literally just tuned in right before he did it. So it was funny to watch though. Yeah, I will give him that.
He's just different.
Doesn't get it.
So I will start the ending festivities of show 200 by wishing Mr. Bill Shawcross a happy birthday, like I planned on doing before this show started. Happy birthday, Bill. I love you. 50's got to be fun. I had the pleasure of hanging out with you Saturday night watching SummerSlam with you and your friends. It was a great time. Always good being on the softball field with you, talking sports with you. You know, we went from a guy that I couldn't stand playing against on Jameson Poorhouse to a guy I call my friend, a guy I care about. And really happy birthday to you, man. And I hope that
appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed turning 50.
It's 44, but it's not 50.
I also had wished Bill a happy birthday on Monday, and I was even nice to him on Monday. I didn't say anything bad about Michigan. I held everything back until Tuesday. Like I did that out the bottom of my heart here. The courtesy of not getting him all riled up on his 50th birthday. So Bill, for that as well, I of course have to wish you happy birthday. And yeah, I look forward to this year for you because you know you had to get your fun last year. You know, you got to see Michigan win a national championship. This year won't be as fun for you. So I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed 43, 44. I'm hoping it's a good one too. But you know, I hope at this point next year we're talking about my team being a national champion as opposed to your team.
I would say it would damper it a tad if you won the year after us, but Alex is making a hard push for me to start rooting against Oregon even more so than you. I have to be honest. The damn Ducks showed up at Ann Arbor yesterday. They didn't let him in, thank God. I don't know how you guys let him slip through and get in the damn horseshoe. That's embarrassing. I almost used that as my you got to be kidding me. Michigan said, "No, Mas, you're not coming in here." I don't know where he went today, but those fans are
goddamn Ducks.
They are putting a huge target on their back for a team that, listen, is going to be very talented, but I think somewhere along the family tree, Dan Lanning might be related to James Franklin. I'm not sure. I'm going to check in on that, but
it'll be an Oregon, Ohio State Big Ten final, so you'll have a lot of time to talk about that this year.
Most likely, we'll see.
That's what you're getting. I'm almost sure of it, but I do want to end the show at 200 talking about how awesome it's been to be able to do 200 shows with you gentlemen. I use that word loosely because neither one of you are gentlemen. But no, seriously, it's been a really fun ride, and we started the show with 200. We're gonna end the show with 200, and super happy to be working with you guys and the growth. You know, last month we're constantly hitting something new, right? Whether it be a TikTok video that goes 900,000, a Facebook video that goes 500,000, 1,000 download month on Spotify. It's fun because we're constantly finding new people to listen to the show and listen to it in different waves. Whether it be on Twitter, man, we had 15,000 people tune in on Twitter since we've been on Twitter for the last 2.5 months. Do you know how ridiculous that is to get 15,000 people on a platform we never went live on? That is awesome. Super happy. We have over 25,000 downloads just on Spotify. That doesn't include the ones on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and on Facebook. We have 1.3 million streams since we started 200 shows ago. Sometimes, you know, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. I think it's only a matter of time before this show gets picked up nationally and it goes on a level that where we can do this full time for a living. But until it does, I have so much fun looking forward to Wednesday nights to hop on with you guys and talk sports with two very intelligent sports guys that I get to call my friends. So I just wanted to thank you guys for 200 great shows.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get asked this question a lot. We're obviously at 200 now, but you know, people are like, you've been over for 3 years. And I always say it doesn't feel like that. You know, there's definitely nights that I think are a little bit, you know, I think we've all agreed we have shows that we look forward to more than others, but it's never really felt like work. But it is a lot of work. You know, it's, you look at, if you go back and watch our first show compared to where we are now, it's drastically different. We've all gotten better. We've all grown. You know, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of effort. You know, and it's enjoyable. It's cool. You know, from my point of view, and I'm sure Gina Cottrell too, when you start something like this and then just kind of build it and then just watch it grow, like Gene just mentioned all the numbers. I mean, some of that stuff's incredible. The fact that we've had over 1 million streams on Facebook, like that's just if you were told me that 3 years ago, I would have thought you were probably crazy. But to have something that you're a part of and constantly create and cultivate and continue to make better, that kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it's a really cool feeling, and it's there's a million people to thank. I mean, obviously both of you gentlemen, the people behind the scenes, Liz putting up with me, all you putting up with Cottrell. I mean, it takes a lot of time away from other things that you have to do. I mean, it is a sacrifice to do this, a lot of the time. So we've grown so much. We have a network now. I do another show with Cottrell. Gene's on like 3 shows. All the fans that have been with us from the get-go, Katie, Travis, Michael Robert Lafferty, Petey, both Billy, CJ Brancato, Timmy Todd. I mean, there's so many. And then obviously with the new Coast to Coast show, I mean, I busted his balls all week, but Justin Lauder is there every single week. And then obviously, we brought Alex in the fold, and we've all these. It's just so much. We can sit here all night and thank people, but it's cool. It's cool. It's really. I don't know how to describe it other than that. To when you get together with people and you actually just create this thing, and it's just grown and it continues to get better. It's a really cool feeling.
I'll add the Dempseys, the Hurtados. I know how much you guys tune in and listen to us every week. RJ, there's so many people, and like I said, like Bill said, there's never going to be an opportunity we're going to be able to thank everybody. We have a lot of listeners, and that's I'm thankful for that. Tom Gallo has been one of our best listeners in the last few months. I really appreciate umping him in softball, and he's been a great guy to get to know. I could literally go on for days about the people that are in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other cool thing too is just looking back, obviously everybody can't listen live either, and just hearing from other people, we downloaded the show, we listened to it afterwards, and oh, you guys are crazy for thinking that, or I can't believe you guys keep doing this, or just different things like that going back and forth. It's cool to get the feedback from everybody about the show, and then sometimes there's people that will say something about it that had no clue was even watching. They may not ever comment things like that, but it's definitely been cool. And 200 shows down now. It's been fun, and try not to keep it the same exact show. Obviously, with some of our listen stuff, we repeat that. We've been doing You Got to Be Kidding Me for 200 straight weeks now. Got to keep certain things the same way, but always looking to bring a new fresh show to the people, and it's been fun. And I'm sure before 300 we're going to be having other crazy insane takes, or just other things that we add in. Hell, trivia just got added recently within the last 12 weeks, so always looking to bring new stuff to the people. So it's definitely been fun, and I'm looking forward to the next 100.
Before you close this out, Gene, which I'm sure you're going to do, I think there's a few people I think we have to make sure we mention. And that's obviously Mike, Jamie, even Godfrey, that whole group that were kind of already doing this when we started and helped us along the roads. I mean, their help, we wouldn't be here without them. Obviously, COVID screwed a lot of stuff up, and, it changed us to kind of go out on our own and do our own thing. But I joked about it at the beginning with Mike Shady Kondo, but that's where we started. And then Godfrey and all that, Gene still does a show with Godfrey. We met those guys there, and Jamie produced us forever too. So a huge thanks to those guys, because again, we would not be here without any of them. So humble beginnings to where we are now, but you can never ever forget the people that were there for you.
I'm gonna do a live tell-all and basically break down the goods and the bads of starting a podcast one day. Maybe I'm telling you right now that might blow up, because I'm telling you, I'll talk about the goods and the bads, the good people we've met in this industry and the bad people we've met in this industry. There's definitely a show for that coming in the near future.
Being in the studio with no AC and trying to hold it together.
God.
Two fat guys in a hot studio is not good, dude. It's not good.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 200, Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Control. Uncle, Scholastic, and 1 year older, Bill Shawcross. And we are signing out.